One of the things I keep hearing about over the course of this past weekend with Joker having come out and all the controversy surrounding that is we live in a society. Of course, it's a meme, but it's kind of true in some aspects, right? And what I'm more or less referring to here is not the movie, which is quite good and you should go see it, despite all the controversy and the media absolutely fundamentally attempting to, destroy it. But really, the situation with Ellen DeGeneres and George W. Bush has got me really just kind of shaking my head, right? And mostly at my liberal compatriots, right? The ones that are like truly upset. Upset. Okay. They're not really upset. They're on Twitter going like, "Oh my God, I'm mad." They're not mad. They just think that they're mad. They're not actually mad. They're not mad about many things in this world. They feel like they have to feel something, so they get mad. But anyway, Dallas, Texas, Dallas versus Green Bay. Ellen DeGeneres gets invited with Portrait de Rossi by Charlotte Jones, the daughter of Jerry Jones, owner of the team, to go and check out the game. 100,000 person stadium. Gorgeous stadium. I'm not even a football fan, and it's a gorgeous stadium. And so she's sitting next to George W. Bush, right? And then they took a picture. They showed a picture of the two of them together, and they were laughing. They were enjoying each other's company. They were yucking it up a little bit. And of course, liberal Twitter does what liberal Twitter does, which is get mad at everything. Doesn't matter what it is. They're going to get mad at it. So they get mad at her. They get mad at her because she's talking to him. And it just, I heard about it when it happened. It just, maybe I'm just, I don't know. Maybe I'm older. I'm 37. Maybe I'm older. But it's not something in this world that I give a crap about. Our president and the Ukrainian call, the whistleblowers, the impeachment hearings, or the impeachment inquiry. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm correct on that. People in the comment section going to remind me I was wrong. But everything else that's happening, the serious situation, everything else that's happening, far more important than whether or not Ellen DeGeneres, a 50-year-old lesbian, and the former president of the United States had a laugh at a football game in Texas. This is just where our society finds itself. This is just where our society is. And it makes no sense. Like, do you, and I mean you colloquially, like everybody, have to get upset at the stupidest shit? And I get upset at dumb stuff all the time, right? I mean, I'm a YouTube personality, which is not even a term I like anymore. I tell people I do digital media content creation because it does sound slightly more respectable than, oh, what do you do for work? I sit in front of a camera and talk about stuff. Noble profession. But anyway, it's so dumb. But I will say this, though. I love the fact that Ellen responded the way that she did. I just saw the video clip from a couple days ago, or from yesterday. And I have to say, I give her a lot of credit for how she went about this. I give her a lot of credit for coming out there and doing a full 4-minute bit about this and it not being an apology. Because why would you apologize? Why would you apologize for having a conversation to the person you're sitting next to at a football game? A person that she says that she's friends with, a person that she says that she disagrees with fundamentally, but she can still find a way to be to come together over the love of football, right? And I kind of wish more people would do that. Like, I have friends who are staunch conservatives. I have friends who are diehard liberals. They would not get along. And I like to poke either side because it's funny. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's just really where it is. And if we cannot, as a society, come together and actually start to have those kind of conversations with one another in a way that it's not even, okay, you know what? Let me kind of backtrack on that one. It's not have a conversation because, you know what? Here's the thing. People are already talking. It's having the courage to stand up and say, this is my friend with whom I disagree with politically on a lot of issues, but we're still friends because politics doesn't define everything about you. You know, how many people do you hear about now don't talk to their family members because of politics? And I get it in some cases, you know, it's too much. I mean, we're constantly inundated by negative stuff. Some of it's important, a lot of it isn't, but we get worked up over things. And there are things that do deserve more attention that don't get the attention, that things that don't need the attention get the most play on TV. And it's a massive mess. There's so much wrong with this world, so much wrong with this country in that regard, that's just where we are. But Ellen talking with George W. Bush is not something that should be national news. And it's not even what I would call like a distraction or a deflection. Some people might argue that like, oh, it's just fluffy celebrity stuff. If it's fluffy celebrity stuff that doesn't ultimately have any kind of meaning or value anywhere outside of just in the context of seeing it, you know, like you pick up a tabloid magazine at the store and you see like, oh, Kim Kardashian got a new butt implant. All of a sudden you're like, oh, that's interesting. I can live my life without knowing that information at all. But why not? Maybe, you know, something I could tell people at parties. That's where I view this. But I have to give Ellen the credit again, because she came out and she defended her stance. She didn't apologize. She didn't kowtow. She didn't walk it back. She didn't throw him under the bus. Think of George W. Bush what you will. Is he a warmonger? Yeah, 100%. Did he hurt this country? 100%. But not everything about a person can be summarized like that. I mean, like, as much as I like Obama, I criticize the fact that the dude led so many damn drone strikes that killed like 180,000 Iraqis, a lot civilians, you know. And I'm mad at George W. Bush for costing the lives of over 4,000 Americans by going into pointless wars in Afghanistan and Iraq at the end of the day. I have criticisms. But the average person does not know what it's like to be president and to be put in those situations and having to make those tough calls. Well, we never will. So I don't look at it like that from that perspective, because that's the job. And I know that sounds like a defense. It's a weird thing to say, but that's the job that they have. That's the job that they're doing, and they make those choices. My choices at my job are, what kind of thumbnail am I going to use? You know, do I put text in the font or in the thumbnail? What's the tags, the video description? Is it an interesting topic? Totally different. No one would come to me asking me how I feel about bombing people in another country, because that's not the job I signed up for. I like to talk about things happening in the world. I don't like to be the one to make the phone call to go, let's execute some people. Like, it's just not for me. But there's hard decisions that have to be made. That's their job. And then once that job is over, once those hard decisions are now on to another administration, do you just crumple up the person and throw them away? I mean, again, our society, the cancel culture aspect of our society, I have a feeling that that's what a lot of people are going to say. I don't agree with it. I'm not trying to defend all of Bush's actions or explain them away. Again, I have my own problems. But he's been out of office since 2009. It's been over 10 years. He's been out of office. It's other people's turn now. Now he's a private citizen doing his thing at a football game with another celebrity, and that's where it's at. That's where it's at. And like him or hate him, he made the choices he felt was best for the country, and a lot of them were wrong. But at the end of the day, that's his journey. And Ellen and him having a conversation is just that, a conversation. Getting a picture taken together, taking a selfie, that's not the end of the world. As much as the left tries to like be the party of reason, this is one of those moments where they've lost it. They complain about, you know, they're hypocrites, because they always want, I don't know, I think they just want to have their cake and eat it too. So does the Republicans, 100%. But Why get mad at Ellen for sitting next to George W. Bush at the game? It wasn't like that was a planned thing. I mean, it could be as easily explained as like, oh, they were on a flight together and then someone snapped a photo and that's that. That's it. But because people need to feel something, they need to feel outraged. They make this an issue. It's not an issue. It's a non-issue. It's a non-controversy. But people got to get mad. More things to worry about. Greater things to worry about. This isn't one of them. I don't know. I just wanted to get this off my chest. I just wanted to address it. Someone asked me what I thought about it. You ever have those, you know what it boils down to here, guys, is you ever have those moments where you're so insanely tired of just the noise and the nonsense. You know, when I read the news, I look for fun stories, crazier stories. Those are always interesting to me. But it's getting to be so bad out there that Ellen sitting next to the former president is almost more important in the news cycle than things actually happening in the administration. Maybe that's why Joker was so popular this weekend. Maybe that's why people, in the trailer when he says, have you noticed it's getting a little crazy out there? People were like, well, I'm on Twitter. I'll read the news, and they wanted escapism, so they went to go see a murderous clown. We are so screwed. We are so just insanely screwed. Priorities. What are priorities anymore? What do they even matter? What does it even matter anymore? I mean, God forbid Ellen ever is next to like Donald Trump at a party. Left with dishonor. We just do away with it. Oh, God. We do live in a society, and it is a really dumb one. Just a really, really dumb one.